There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? There's money everywhere. There's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino Is the Name. Casino Is the Name. I'm sitting here right now with some special guests. I have John Alite. And you know, I've been meaning to ask you, is it Alite or what was it? I heard so many different versions of your name. It's crazy. Alite.
Version too, so it's
Alite. Okay. Yeah, I've heard Alite, Alite. So I was just wondering, how would you pronounce it?
Growing up in the street, it was Alite, but it's really pronounced Alite, and everybody says what, so we just say John Alite, you know.
Okay, gotcha.
This way.
Okay, and John was the hitman for John Gotti in the Gambino crime family, and we also have Gene Borrello from the Bonnano crime family. He was actually a made man in the Bonnano crime family. So I just wanted to bring these guys here because they have such an interesting story. I mean, their lives aren't just like a single movie. They can make several movies out of these guys' lives, and they probably will. So I just wanted to ask you guys about how you got started in the mob, where you guys come from, your neighborhoods you guys came from, and if we could, can we start with Gene?
Sure. Neighborhood I came from, I was born in Brooklyn, Flatlands 84th and Canarsie. I moved over to I was 8 to 10 years old. Between that time, I moved over to Queens, Ozone Park, and then moved over to Howard Beach. And that's the neighborhood that I came up in. It was probably the biggest mafia neighborhood in the country.
Wow.
All organized crime pretty much. Growing up, you know, I hung out with mostly all mob-related people. I was born into mob royalty pretty much. My uncle was Fat Andy Ruggiano, one of the most notorious feared captains in Gambino history. So it was easy for me to get involved, and it was all around me. So it was basically right in front of me my whole life.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
John?
I actually grew up with his uncle as a young kid, and his uncle and his cousins were involved in coaches of my baseball team, and we used to box together at the same gym, Lost Battalion Hall up in Queens Boulevard, with the son. Albert Ruggiano, Anthony was also involved, and most of the guys that grew up with me were in the gym. We were either boxing or playing baseball, so that's where it started for me with the mob and his family.
Yeah, and John, what's interesting about John is a lot of people don't know what's different about him and other mob guys is he actually grew up with a lot of black guys. He's had a pretty extensive history with the black community. And I mean, if you want to talk about your friend Snow Billy, he's been doing a lot of interviews as well out of New York. So
yeah. Me and Snow, people don't know me and Snow knew each other prior to all his problems and different situations. He's going to come on the Johnny and Gene show as soon as in the next couple of weeks we're going to have him on. We've been just kicking it back and forth recently. So, right. You know, really the message is with Snow and the message with Gene and you know, we got different lives now, trying to talk to kids about not following this path, especially the kids that I grew up, like you said, I grew up in a mixed community. So I have a lot of black friends from the street. My sons do. And I'm really pretty well involved in advocating against the violence in the street. And, you know, when they got this big movement going on, obviously right now that I'm not really with because I try to keep it as real as possible with everybody. Yeah. And when somebody says Black Lives Matter, that means every kid that's getting killed out in the street, in every neighborhood, from my old neighborhood, Jamaica, to Los Angeles, to Chicago, to everywhere, these kids are getting killed left and right. And I'm talking about babies now, 1 year old, 3 years old, 5 years old. So, you know, if it really matters, everybody will really get together and really care about these kids. And I'm talking about people have a voice, politicians, ball players. It's easy to hold up a sign and say this, Black Lives Matter, walk around, but never do nothing. So if you really mean something and you want to do something, then really do something. So, you know, I'm really, I want to help these kids not end up like me.
So did you guys know each other back when you guys were active members?
Actually, I had met him when I was younger, a few times. I mean, he worked for my family. He's very close with all my cousins, a lot of my family members. It's kind of crazy because he basically, when he left, I kind of filled his shoes. You know, he was a wild guy running around. I mean, everybody was scared of the guy. And when I got to my age, when I started running around, when he left, I was the same way. You know, I was running around shooting and going crazy and terrorizing neighborhoods. So I think that's why we do get along so good, because we came from kind of the same. We were the same way almost. You know, I mean, he was a lot worse than me, but I mean, from my time, I was very wild. And people, you could actually say when he left, I kind of filled his shoes and just terrorizing the area for the mafia.
Wow. So John, is that why you vouch for Gene the way you do? Because I mean, you've interviewed other people on your show, and in case you guys don't know who watch my channel, they have their own YouTube channel. It's called Gene, is it John Alite and Gene Borrello show?
Right.
Or
Right here, you got the shirt.
oh, there it is, Johnny and Gene show. I watch it. I'm a subscriber, so so guys, go out there and subscribe to that. But so John, is that the reason why you reached out to Gene the way you did? Because I think it was a Vlad TV interview that you were doing, and you was like, hey, I got another guy right here just like me. So you brought him to the forefront, and ever since then we've seen plenty of Gene, and we're hearing his story. So is that you see part of yourself in Gene or something?
Yeah, well, I was raised around his family, so I actually know him since he was a little baby. He ain't gonna remember me because he was a kid. So, when I end up seeing him again, you know, I try to keep it real with guys that are real, right? So, you know, and that's the biggest thing I'm trying to do is advocate for kids that understand, you know, what the world's about. And I mentioned earlier Snow Billy, because these guys that grew up that know me, you know, they will get down guys. You know, it's easy for guys to sit behind a computer, but he doesn't know what it is when you get shot in the head, or when you get shot in the neck, or when you're really in the street.
Right.
And, you know, and understand the life and the treachery. So, you know, I'm advocating for kids all over, every street, every color. Even though I was wild, don't follow that, because that's not really what life's about. So, you know, I'm trying to kick it with guys that, you know, they know we understand because we were violent. You know, we've been stabbed up and shot up in jails, and ain't no way to live. So I'm trying to, you know, I'm real aggressive the way I talk, and it's just the way I was on the street. I was aggressive. So I'm aggressive now, trying to save lives. And I don't care what color you are. That don't mean shit to me. It means I want to have to see some kids have a good life. That's all it is.
That's great. So you have a documentary that I just watched. It's on Netflix. So John has a documentary called Fear City, and they have another documentary that's also coming out, or that you guys are going to start shooting in September, or is it coming out in September?
No, we're going to start shooting. It's called The Final Chapter.
Oh, The Final Chapter.
It's going to be involved with a guy, Tomas Salmi from Italy, and Nicholas Pileggi. It will be involved, who's the guy everybody knows from Goodfellas, and, you know, putting that together. So it's some good people behind it. And we're really, we got some good people involved with us in the making of it. And start September, we'll start shooting.
Did you guys think that back when you guys were doing what you were doing and everything was secrecy and you were trying to do everything on the low, did you think that you would ever be doing a documentary about your life or the things that you had going on?
No. I was in Rikers Island fighting over a chair. I did not think I'd be doing
That's crazy.
You know, I mean, so
that's crazy.
You know, it turned out for the best, though. I can tell you that much. You know.
Yeah. How long did you do down in Rikers?
I did a total of my life in prison in general. I did 10.5 years.
Wow, 10 years. Wow. John, did you do any time?
Yeah, too much time. About 18 years. So,
yeah.
And 2.5 in Brazilian penitentiaries. So when I went on a run, so we're too familiar with the jail system. I got a book out called Prison Rules by Nick Christopher. So and it relates to all this stuff about jails. Right,
and you can't get that time back. I also want like children to know that, you know, that these things, you know, might seem fun or exciting in the moment, but you can't get that time back. They can take you away from your family, your children, your brothers, your mom. You know, there's people whose parents have passed while they were locked up, and it's it's just not the way you want to actually live. And fighting over a chair, I had no idea, Gene. That's
Right.
that's
Well, and that's why we talk about, like, we don't want people to think we're glorifying our crimes. What we're doing is we're basically explaining what you go through in these places and what goes on and what we did. It's not like we're bragging about hurting someone or shooting someone or killing someone. It's basically about, this is what we did and this is what you'll go through when you go to prison. It's not like we're glorifying it. It's just that when you hit Rikers Island and you hit these bad spots, then you got to see where your heart's at, because it's no camp. So, everything we try and explain to kids, don't think it's all cool and glamorous. You're in this gang and all this stuff. And then when you get there, you realize this is a nightmare. So that's why we try to explain how bad the prison system is and everything,
Yeah. So what is the attraction to the mob for your community?
Basically, it's. I mean, honestly, mine was money. I love money, and it was an easy way to make money. And then when you get involved, you start liking the power and the respect, because that's what comes with it. Especially when you're a violent, dangerous guy and you're making money. You start to see how many people look up to you and follow you. So that becomes a high also.
Gotcha. So could you guys talk about the structure of the mafia?
Yeah, I mean, in New York, you got 5 families. So each family has a boss, has an underboss, has a concierge of the family, and then you have captains or skippers, whatever you want to call them. And then you have made guys under them, and then you have associates, and you have the associates guys. Now, you get guys like myself that aren't Italian, that are running shit on the street bosses, whatever, and you have the authority of sitting down as a made guy, or actively as one of the guys in the families, like a made guy. So you have typically anywhere from 100 to 200 made guys per family, and then you have the associates, and then you have the associates guys. So you got 10,000-20,000 guys after you're finished and done between everybody that are involved with one family, and then you go from city to state to state. So in other words, if I got a problem with somebody in Detroit, I just call somebody in our family in Detroit that's involved, or even another family, and we get a location on somebody, and it's as easy as that. I know guys from every city, every state, so I can still reach out to people, and actually out of the country. So when I went on the run, I went into 20-something countries, and I have bosses and guys that are affiliated with us, whether they're cartel guys, whether they're mob guys from other crews that living in Costa Rica or whatever, running bookmaking businesses. So it's easy for us to catch somebody. It's not what everybody thinks. So you can reach, your arm reaches pretty long, and as long as you're patient, you understand the life, you can catch up with anybody you want to catch up with.
Wow.
Yeah. Also back in the day, the 5 families, they like to keep everything equal. So when they have a certain amount of soldiers, a certain amount of captains, a lot of the families like to keep it equal. They don't want anyone to be bigger than nobody. That's how they used to be back in the day.
Oh, wow.
Right.
I never knew that. Never heard that.
They usually would only open the books, certain families, every 3 years, 4 years. Nowadays, it's different. But back in the day when it was the real mafia, when they opened it, that was when they opened it. When they closed it, it was closed for a while. And that's how it worked.
During different periods, in the mob world, depending on what's going on, they'll close the books. They'll specially open the books. So, when you're making a guide, there's a list that goes around between all the families. And that's to let all that. This is, again, things have changed in the last years because of all the cooperation and guys informing. But you would pass a list around, and each family would know what guys are going to be inducted into the mob. And if you have something to say against them, you could dispute them getting straightened out. You put a complaint in, you put a beef in, and possibly you could stop them from being a made member. These days, that doesn't go because of it's more, they try to keep it a little more low key. Some of the families don't share with other families who's made anymore, like it used to be, because of all the law enforcement.
So as far as being made, does that carry some sort of weight, or are you like what they say, untouchable, or?
Nowadays, it's just a title. Back in the 70s, 60s, back in that generation, it meant something. Back in the day, if you touched a made guy, you'd be killed. Nowadays, I was robbing them. I was abusing them. It's a whole different era. I mean, it's not like how it used to be. That's all I could say for that,
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so could you tell me about like how the mob made money? Like what was the like how many different types of businesses or things that they make money, because that's one of the parts of, I guess people say organized crime, but they don't really fully understand like the different ways. They don't know if it's just robbery. People don't even understand extortion.
Well,
So
the difference between the mafia or any other organization is the mafia is embedded in the infrastructure of the United States. By what I'm saying is, if a ship comes into the seaports, we control the ships. If you go to Wall Street, we're controlling Wall Street. If you're in the garment district, we're controlling that. The Teamster union, so every truck that goes to a construction job has to come through us. So people don't understand that if you want to shut a job down in the city and you want to control the local 3 electric union, all you got to do is shut down their trucks. So if you're controlling those Teamsters, there's no trucks coming to the job. There's no cement being poured. So it's very easy to control the city jobs, or any job for that matter. So once you control these unions the way we do, there's no other organization that does that but us. And that goes for anything that's in the meat industry, restaurants. So all these unions are a stronghold of the Italian Mafia, which it emboldens us, makes us strong, gives you political connections, banking connections. So you're running the city, you're running the states, you're running the government almost. And this is the reason why they came in. The Netflix series I just did called Fear City. It discusses the RICO case that became in effect in the mid-'80s that started taking down the mafia from all this occurring. So that was one of the biggest blows to the United States Mafia.
In Fear City, there was a lot of talk about street guys, but what would be considered a street guy?
You're looking at them.
Right.
I'll answer for you. See, the difference when I'm talking, and I try to talk as real as possible, because I come from a street neighborhood where it was Spanish and black, not just white. So I have a lot of black friends, which you know, and I just mentioned earlier about Snowbilly. So in my world, forget about the mafia. Guys are respected by their ability of making money, their intelligence, and how tough they are. And one doesn't go without the other. So you got a lot of wild guys out there that just dumb. They're easy to kill. They can be wild all they want for a year or two, and then their career's over, they get killed, or they go to jail. So the biggest thing that we try to, as a gangster, you advocate for is the intelligence, but also your respect level is going to be from street guys. So when I see a guy that gets down, I respect him. I don't care what color he is. And I tell everybody this all the time. A mobster isn't made by his skin color, well, he's involved with the mafia, but whether he is a guy that you can work with. So if if you knew me from the street and you knew how to make money and we can make money together, you're involved with me. You're not per se in the mafia, but you got just as many connections as anybody else because you're involved with us. So that means you have the power of us. So when I look at some of these guys, the respect, especially from guys that are hitters, guys that put in work, guys that know how to put in work and keep their mouth shut and go about their business quietly. That's a gangster. There's always going to be some money makers, but those same money makers, they need guys like us, because without us, we take your money. So and the bottom line is, so the respect is going to come from a guy like me. Is if you're a respected, tough guy and you're intelligent. You can't be one without the other and get respect in the street, because you're not going to last long without the intelligence.
Well, it's like this also. You could break it down in these terms. Let's say you're going for a job, right? I'll break it into regular terms. And you have the guy that's related to the guy that owns the company. Now, you're going for promotions, right? Now, you're supposed to get it, but you're not getting it because why? Because he's related to the guy that owns the company. You get what I'm trying to say?
Right.
So guys are put in power because they're related to people, not because they earned it.
So there's nepotism.
Gotcha.
You got nepotism, and then there's no respect from the guys in the street.
Right. Sorry. Yeah.
You can have guys with titles. It doesn't mean anything. You're not going to get respected. Especially as the years went on. There's going to be moves made against you because you're not respected as well feared, and those qualities, few and far between now these days. His uncle happened to be one of the most feared guys. It was raised in the Albert Anastasia days with Murder Inc. But he was also a well-schooled gangster that taught me and his sons what it was to be a gangster, a real gangster, a true gangster, and how to conduct yourself. And, so That's inbred in his family. So I think that my respect level is because of the way he was raised. And, you know, and again, if guys are from the street, I'm going to respect them. I don't care where they're from.
Right. You know, also for me, it's like, how am I going to take orders from you and you never did what I did? So it's like, I'm out here, Vinny Asaro, who I work for, he got bodies, he got work. He was a feared, respected gangster. On the other hand, you talk about the guy you brought up, you never did nothing in your life. Why am I going to go do something for you when all you did was be related to somebody and now you're a gangster? That's not how it works in the real world with us, as far as I'm concerned.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, you have John, you have a magazine coming out. Well, you have a major magazine about to be published, but we don't want to say the name because of said reasons. I understand that. And you got your documentary that you guys are going to start shooting, and you just came out with another documentary. You're also going around speaking at schools. You have your YouTube channel. Are you guys also writing a book or preparing to shoot a movie on your lives, like a feature film or anything like that?
Well, I've turned down offers from feature films, TV series. Until I get the right deal, I'm not going to do anything that's going to be what's going to end up hurting the movie or TV series. It's got to be done right. It's got to be produced right. It's got to be backed by the right people, and the money's got to be right. So books, I have 4 books out. I have Gotti's Rules out. That was the bestseller. I have Darkest Hour as a kid growing up with Susan Pike. The first one was by George Anastasia. And that's from when I was up to about 17. There's a sequel coming out to that, and that I just finished, and a book called Prison Rules to help kids stay out of the street. Not just kids, but young adults. But really, that's my message. And, you know, everything I'm doing now is trying to help kids not get killed, not go to jail, and live a right life. And I don't care, again, what neighborhood they're from, what gang they're involved with. I want to see them have a good life. Don't end up with the lives we had. And really, before we were killing guys, now we're trying to save guys. And really, that's the message. Save kids from the nonsense of the street, because it's short-lived. They're just kids. They don't know any better.
Well, I have a book coming out soon. It's in the works right now. It should be out in about 5-6 months.
What you know what the name of it is, or you want to say?
I won't give it up yet.
Gotcha.
It's coming out. You know, it's going to be good. First modern day mafia book ever made.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you guys want to say, or, you know, any message that you want to leave?
You know, again, I'm advocating for stop the violence, obviously. Second chance programs for people that were in prisons that are coming home. I'm advocating for better terms of imprisonment if it's good behavior while you're in there, so you get more good time. Education. There's been some reforms recently, which is a good thing for jails. And my biggest thing is I'm going to reach out to Snow Billy. And guys know that I mentioned 6ix9ine before. I talked about him. And I want to put them together and make them shake hands and move on with their life in a positive direction. I'm hoping to broker in that deal and make them forgive each other, move on, and show that there is life after the street. You can be gentlemen. And there's a guy that I just reached out to also in my life that was shot in the head. Could have been a boss and was a tough guy, great with his hands. He owns karate and MMA fighting schools. And his name is Cookie Dorso. And so people that don't know him, these guys were my enemies. This is not a friend. This is a guy that tried to kill me regularly. These are guys like Snow that's been, you know, they know what it is. I know what it is to get shot up or stabbed up or battered. And you know, we were in the trenches. And I'm going to stick my hand out to Cookie. Same thing. I want to move forward and try to help him and him to help me help kids to move forward. And there's nothing better than Snow doing that with Takash. So I'm hoping I can reach these guys and show that we're not just talking it, we're doing it, you know, and it means something to go across aisles to, I don't care what you're involved in, what gang, what mob, but, you know, let's do the right thing and save some lives, man. We took enough.
Yeah, for me, like I said, I'm all about rehabilitation and helping these kids, and I want them really to understand where we're coming from. You know, it's like we've been through everything you could possibly go through, and, you know, look at us now. You know what I mean? It's like we've been through hell and back, and now, you know, we're changing our lives and we're doing good things. And believe it or not, we get a lot of good feedback. Like a lot of people, you know, you might see, you know, comments, but that's just a small portion. We get hit up all over the world. You know, I get hit up every day Instagram from Tokyo, Japan, you name it. I don't even believe it sometimes till I actually see it. It really is, from these countries, and they really say thank you. We love what you're doing. Keep it up. And that makes me happy. It shows that what we're doing is actually working. So that's what
I saw you guys, and and I know real street guys. When I see them, I can tell it's not like you guys are so honest and open with your story. You document it, and everything. You're not even trying to glorify, just saying, "Hey, man, this is what it is." And you don't want to have to go through this, right? And so when I saw your story, I was like, man, I got to reach out. I definitely got to reach out. And John, you've been on some of everything, and to see Gene coming up. And Gene, how old are you?
I'm 36.
I'm 35, so we're around the same, So when I seen Gene, I was like, man, it's, to see somebody around my age, because we're just old enough to have seen some of the old, and also in the we see the young wild ones, right, or the ones that don't have the respect and all of that kind of stuff for things. So we're just in a weird age group. So we're seeing the old. We know what these guys did, what John and them did, and we're seeing the young guys, and it's just wild. So even in my community, it's the same. So I was like, I definitely got to reach out to Gene. Mm-hmm.
I just want to tell these kids out there, anybody that's involved in anything from the street, it's easy to go out and shoot somebody and kill someone. That's easy. Anybody can do that. But it's hard to shake somebody's hand. I've shaken some people's hands that try to kill me. And so I had some guys on shows that I shot. And, they shook my hand. So, we're really doing it. We're not just talking. Yeah. So, and I want to get, I happen to like Snow, and I know Snow. So, and he's a real dude. And he got a good heart. And I think I'm going to get him. We had some talks, and I'm going to keep talking to him about shaking hands with 6ix9ine and moving forward, man, with life. And really, that's all I'm going to say, because, I know what it is to get stabbed up. If I had guys that baseball batted me, stabbed me up, or shot me, all of them, I reached across to all of them now. And, it's easy for me to do something different, right? But, I want a better life. And the same thing I want, I'm advocating for these kids that have come to the street. Put those drugs down, open up a club. I had one of the hottest black clubs around Florida for 10 years, called Moet's and Mirage. So there's so many things that kids can do that were in a position like me and Gene, and hopefully that we keep passing this positive message for everybody. It's easy to talk negative. People always do that. There's hate. Right. And I just tell people that are haters, man, they're always going to hate. No matter what you say, whatever that message is, they're going to hate. We got to just leave them behind and keep moving forward.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you guys ever want to come back on this channel, I'm more than welcome. You're more than welcome over this side. So if you ever come to Atlanta, just let me know.
I'm coming to see you soon. I like it down there. So
all right, for sure.
I got some good friends there. I'm going to come visit pretty soon now.
Oh, okay. So y'all down here?
Yeah. I'm going to hit you up here. I'll be there shortly. Next
all right, cool.
You'll be seeing me.
All right, for sure.
All right.
Y'all take it easy.
All right.
No problem.
Take care, boy. All right.
What's going on right now? You're watching Casino is the Name, and if you want to know how I started my trucking business, I have an ebook called Big Shot Hot Shot Volume 1 on your trucking authority. The link is going to be in the description. It'll pretty much tell you everything from after taxes to different types of trailers and all sorts of things. It's a great book, 5-star reviews. Link will be in the description. Go get it. Yeah.
Beat me up, Scotty. Me and her together, we just count it up. Money on my mind, I can't get enough. Don't play with my money, you don't want no beef. Cause I come from the bottom, I come from the street. When she first saw me, she said, who is that? When a man saw me, he called me a threat. I'm the one that really live with a rap. They ain't never did it, they ain't really trap. You say you want to be successful. But what's stopping you? Can't nothing stop you from being successful except for you. You standing in your own way. I came from the bottom. I ain't know nothing but the grind. You can't tell me nothing about that. I called the Busted Basin Street Projects in Tallahassee, Florida. You hear me? I used to think $1 million would last me my whole life. I'd have made that and spent that. $1 million ain't enough.
There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the name.